Hi, teacher. I think you're muted. Okay.
Whoops, that's awkward. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Well, then I guess let's start over with all that. Hello, everybody. How was this last course for any of y'all? Um, did anybody struggle with anything in particular? Did people struggle with setting up their project in MongoDB Atlas? Was that confusing? Was setting up your .env confusing? Any of that kind of stuff, or just setting up, because it was pretty, even though they had a video, to follow along with, it was pretty open-ended, just get CRUD functionality running on your database. Did any of that kind of stuff pose a challenge for anybody? No? Cool. Well, as I was saying before, while I was muted, we'll just do it again, because repetition is key, pretty much in any line of work, but especially coding. So let's yeah, we're just gonna run this again. I was saying that I've got my .env, all of that already set up. I'm not gonna show you it for obvious reasons. But this is assuming that you got all of that stuff good and all of that is working just fine. So I didn't watch the video also, the video you were supposed to follow along with. Oh, struggled because Mongo had a different interface than the video tutorial, but it turned out good at the end. Yeah. The version that they used in the video was definitely a bit older. And there's a lot of a lot of these, like, platform or something as a service type things, database as a service, platform as a service, all like the cloud computing things have so many options, and like 95% of it you'll never use even in your job, right? So it can be hard to navigate where you actually are wanting to go. I used MongoDB Atlas for my last job, and I needed a minute to remember where to navigate to. But yeah, the more you do it, and especially the more you get confused on things and then figure them out, that's way better. Some of the best ways to learn is just not knowing something and then making mistakes and then figuring it out. So I didn't. So it's to say that I did not follow the video. So some of the stuff that I do might be different. It might be the same, purely coincidental. But I'm going to be setting up my structure now. It doesn't need to be quite this atomic, maybe, but in a real, work environment, everything's going to be pretty separated out. All of your concerns are going to be put in their proper place. So let's just start with creating all of the folders we're going to want. We want a database folder for storing. This is where we're going to store our functions for connecting to the Mongo to our database. We're obviously going to want a model. That's very important here. So models. What else are we going to want? We're going to want controllers, of course, routes, and we're going to want middleware. Okay, so we already installed everything. So let's just go right into this. So I already have my Mongo URI set up, so that should be fine. So let's just get our connection out of the way first. So let's make a file that's called connect.js here. We're going to require mongoose inside of it. So const mongoose equals require mongoose. And then we're just going to run our connect DB. And we're going to export that out so we can use it in our app.js later. So let's just call it connect DB. We're going to provide it a URL so that we're able to connect. It's modular, right? And we can use it pretty much anywhere. Let's do a little bit of documentation so we know what's happening here for the future. So this is going to return our connection promise so that app.js can await this connection promise. And the connection is pro mice, so app.js can await it. Okay, so then we're going to return, this method is called mongoose.connect. Take our URL. We need to provide the name of our database here. I'm just going to call it task manager. It's so funny that I end up doing to-do lists and task managers so often in coding because I'm so bad at finishing to-do lists, actually. Like a little while ago, my girlfriend gave me a list of things to buy at the grocery store. And I'm like, okay, it's 6 things on a list. I can do this. And I was so close. I got almost all of them right. Then I was driving away and I realized I was supposed to have bought dishwasher soap and I bought laundry machine soap instead. It's very close, very close. Almost did it right. Maybe if I had more, maybe if I had a to-do app, maybe then it would have worked. I just think that that's ironic that to-do list is such a common little project example, and I am actually so bad at them in real life. All right, let's make our model. We're not going to really be able to define how anything works without our model. So we're making tasks, right? This is a task list. So I'm just going to call it task, capital T. For models in particular, you pretty much always want them to be capital. It's just a way to show that that's what they are, that they're models. Models, objects, those kinds of things, you generally want to be capital. So we need mongoose again, because we need to use mongoose's schema property. Mongoose. All right, so it's a schema for our task. We're going to call it task schema. It's going to be a new mongoose.schema. So what do we want in our schema? Probably a couple things. A name for our task. It's going to be a type of string. It's going to be required. Pretty much most basic thing. Required is true. And if we don't get a name, let's just feed our little error message here. It's going to say name is required. And then let's give it a max length, just for funsies. Let's say 100 characters. If it's more than 100 characters, please make it shorter. Oh, this needs a comma right here. Okay, there we go. And then completed, of course, we need to check whether our to-do task is completed. Its type is going to be a Boolean, right? True or false. And we're not going to set a, actually, yeah, we'll set a default because by default, obviously, it's going to be false. The whole point is that we need to do these things, right? So they're just going to be false. Then let's actually, I'm going to add here a little option to actually back here. Actually, let's put it here. To add timestamps. There's a little option you can add. It's not needed. But for like, logging purposes, it's extra metadata and whatnot. Not needed. Module dot exports. Export it to our app.js. It's going to be a mongoose.model. It's going to be called task. And it's following our task schema. Oops, schema. There we go. Great. Nice. So this is pretty much as basic as it can get. We're just creating new tasks. It's going to say what its name is, and it's going to say whether it's completed or not. That's pretty much it. All right. We could do either our controllers or our routes next. I like doing the controllers because the route is going to run the controller, and it's not going to know what to do if you don't have your controllers up and running. So let's do that next. Anything so far on just setting up the connect.db and setting up our schema, our model? Awesome. That was really just an excuse for me to have some time to drink water. All right, so controllers, it's going to be called tasks.js, obviously. So we're going to need to bring in our model. So const task, once again, capital. Require, we're going to need to go out one to models. And then, of course, task. Okay, so let's keep documenting here so we know which is which. This is going to be our get. So we'll just do get all tasks for now, right? We should probably do one where we get individual tasks by the ID, but let's just get all tasks for now. Get all tasks. That's what it's going to be called. going to be asynchronous, of course, because we're querying a database now. Rec, res, oh, whoa. And next. So first, let's try. Let's get our tasks. So let's await a finding of all tasks. So task.find all of them. And let's sort. And this is the nice thing about having those the timestamps that we made earlier, right? Created at -1. So this is going to sort by just going to sort them chronologically. And then if that works, we're going to do a res.status of 200. We succeeded. Let's JSONify that. Let's show how many tasks we have so that we can tell at a very quick and easy glance how many tasks are in there. So we can tell very easily whether it worked or not. And then let's just list out our tasks. Okay, and if that doesn't work, we're gonna just catch. Let's just do a single line here like this. Let's catch the error, go next. All right, so similar to what we've done already, right? Nothing that we haven't really seen before, except this sorting. But again, you could just find them. You don't need to sort them. I'm pretty sure it would probably do that by default anyway. It would sort them. Well, it might sort them alphabetically by their ID, by their Mongo ID, which could be a little bit weird because the MongoDB just gives it a random, like, I don't remember how many characters are in it, but you've probably seen them before if you were testing and doing your homework, right? It's like this huge mix of like numbers and letters, and that might not be as intuitive as sorting them by chronological order. All right. What do you think? Should we just make them one at a time and then test, or just put them all in at once? Well, I guess we haven't built everything else yet, so we wouldn't be able to test these anyway. Let's make the basic CRUD functionality and then just keep going. Because we've done all this before, right? So hopefully, unless I'm messing it up, this all should just work. Let's create a task. We need our rec, we need our res, we need our next. Okay, so once again, we're going to try. We've got to grab our tasks. Const task equals await a creation of a task this time. So task.create. Of course, in our rec.body, we're going to fill out provide the actual task that we're trying to create. If that works, if we have one of those, let's just res.status 201 and then JSONify that task. And if that doesn't work, just one line it again here. Just catch the error. Just go next with the error. All right. Simple, simple. Let's go ahead and patch here. Put or patch would work here. The main difference between put and patch is that putting is for full replacement of what's there, whereas patching is for partial replacements. You can do like full replacements with patching, but its intent is to do partial. I just like patching because I'm a gamer and games get patched. So that's pretty much the only reason. So const update task. I'm just going to call it update because that's what it is, right? It's the U in update. So I'm still going to call it update and not patch task. But that's going to be, of course, async rec res next. Let's grab those. Let's try this, right? What are we trying? So we got to find by ID and update, right? It's a method provided by Mongoose schemas. So const task equals await. We're going to find that task by its ID. Find by ID. I'm just going to click this to fill that out for me. So how are we going to use it? How are we going to find it? We're going to provide the ID in the parameters, right? The URL parameters. And provide the rec.body because we're going to need to update it, right? New is going to be true. And run validators is also true. It's just a thing you do. It's like URL encoded. It's just kind of what you're supposed to do. I don't even really know what it does, but I know it's important. All right, so let's do a little bit of checking to make sure everything's working here. So if we don't have that task, then we 404 here. Let's give it a quick message of task not found. Otherwise, give it that 200. A bird. He was freaking out earlier today, so I was hoping he was going to be chill when class started. Then, of course, we just catch our errors. Okay, so we have getting, we have posting, we have patching, and of course now we need to delete. Delete. Oh, it needs to be all caps. Okay. Doesn't need to be, but you know. So const delete task, of course. Same thing as always. Hopefully this becomes just old and boring, right? Obvious. That's what we're all hoping for, is that all this complicated stuff just becomes second nature. Now we've seen it a million times. So we need to await. Just like before we had find by ID and update, there's a find by ID and delete. So we're just going to do that. Task dot find by ID and delete. There it is. And again, we're going to pass which ID, the ID of the thing we're trying to delete in the URL parameters. I blanked for a second. There we go. All right. And then same thing here. If we didn't have a task, let's just return a 404. Okay, but if we do succeed, then res.status 200 JSON. Let them know that our message. Let them know that our task got deleted. Task deleted. And then of course got a catch. Okay. So basic CRUD functionality up and running in just a couple minutes. All right. Any questions about any of these while I drink some water? Awesome. Thanks for the thumbs up. Cool. Okay. In that case, let's just do our routes, which is going to be pretty simple because we already have all of our things set up. It's going to be called tasks, of course, tasks.js. So we're going to need express here, right, to set up our router. Const express equals require express. Then set up our router. So const router equals express.router. Okay, so then we're gonna import all of our controllers, right? I could do them here, but I'm actually gonna do this because it's gonna make it look a little bit nicer. So get all tasks. I'm hoping I did these names right. Create task. I'm gonna try and do it without looking back at them every time. No, let's not get. We didn't make one of those. It's update task and delete task. I'm pretty sure that's what they were called. Equals require. Jump out 1, 2 controllers. Whoops. Tasks. There we go. Okay. We could do it on one line. I just kind of like the way this looks a little bit better. It's just the same thing though. Okay, so also I want to do this a little bit of a different way. You can of course make like all your different routes one by one, but I want to show you something cool. And again, I don't know if this is how it's done in the video, but you can sort them just by the routes you need to go to, right? So if the routes that require router.route that start at the base, oops, come on, at the base, that is get all tasks and create task, right? Because that's going to start at just the baseline URL. We can do it like this. If we're dot getting, let's have it at once. Dot get, then we run get all tasks. And if we're posting, then we do create task. And it just works like that. Kind of a cool little shortcut for doing these. It's like, because otherwise we'd be like router.route, and router.get at this place, get all tasks, router at this dot post, create task. We can do it like this too. It's kind of neat, kind of nice. Same thing here, if router.route, because a few of them will need an ID, right? Same thing here. So patching will be our update task. And then when we will need the ID for deleting, obviously, do delete task like this. So that works. It's pretty cool. Then we've got to export this. All right. I don't remember. Did they ask for middleware here? Because I remember in general here at Code the Dream, they really like having error handler middleware. But I don't remember if they require that this early on into the course. But I do know that that is generally a thing that is highly recommended by a lot of the instructors here, is having a little middleware for like universally handling errors. Did someone help me out with that? Yes or no? I might have missed it in the instructions. Was that said to be included somewhere or not? I probably will do it anyway, because that will be a thing that you'll be running into pretty soon, I'm sure. I'm just wondering if that was mentioned at all in like the video or something like that. Yes, no, was it? I'm gonna go with no. No, it was not. That's fine. We can get it started here for the first time. And this is maybe a little bit of a head start, because this will certainly be something that you'll be running into, that you'll be requested to do. I'm like pretty sure. So yeah, quite often we end up making a generic error handler middleware. We call it error handler. Handler. Sometimes it's a common practice to actually for like middleware to do dashes instead of camel casing stuff here. So error dash handler like this would also be a valid name for this error handler middleware, but I'm just going to do capital like this to keep with naming conventions. But just letting you know that if you ever maybe see somewhere else error dash handler, that is also common. So in our error handler middleware, we're just making a quick one. So let's just start with the module.export. So we need our error, we need our rec, we need our res, and a next. We need all these. This is just going to be just handle a good portion of errors that we get. Right. So handles common mongoose errors, right? Because the most common ones we're going to get are probably 400s and 500s, right? Are probably going to be the very common ones. We have things to handle 404s, right? In our update and our delete. But if we run into 400s or 500s, which is stuff like invalid formats, like failed to cast type was like the name of the error for 400, or you would also get a valid, like if you have like any errors with validation, that would also be a 400. And if you run into any server errors, that would be 500. So let's go ahead and handle 400 and 500 errors, right? So if the error's actual name, you can actually check for the name if you like are that familiar with errors, which I certainly am, probably more than anyone else. It's called cast error. I was talking about failed to cast type. Let's return a res.status of 400. Whoop, not 499, 400. JSONify it. And let's say, because this is a failed cast would be about an invalid format. Let's say invalid format, right? Similar here. If the errors dot name is about validation, it's just covering that for later. I'm not even sure we're necessarily going to be doing that right now, but I think we will be probably later. We'll return a res.status of 400.json. And for that, let's just send the message. That's probably going to be more helpful than something generic. We'll console.log whatever the error is. Also, just for clarity's sake, so if it's neither of those, if it's not a 400, it's probably a 500. That's going to be a server error. Of course, there can be more errors than just 400 and 500 that we'll want to account for later. And we'll be able to make this error handler more robust. But this is going to handle the common ones that we're running into. Let's make another one for, we can make it here. Let's just do this for now. Let's just hold on to this. Okay, so we've got our controllers, our database, connection, our middleware, and our model. So now I think that's everything for being able to go into our app. So there'll be a lot of stuff here in our app, right? So let's first make sure that we have our secret step inside of our .env. So require .env.config. So we need express equals require express. We need to connect, we need our database connection. Connect DB equals require, it should be here, right? DB, yes, /connect. What else do we need? We need our task router, right? Tasks router. What did I call it? I don't remember anymore. Oh, yeah, I can name it. Getting all flustered. Let's see. So let's just call it tasks router. Probably most obvious thing to call it. Require. We're gonna need our routes /tasks. Okay, what else? We need our error handler. Error handler equals require at our middleware our error handler. Okay, so basic setup here. We need const app equals express, very first thing before anything else, right? Let's set up our middleware here. For now, it's just going to be app.use express.json, of course. Need to JSONify those request bodies before any of this can work. All right. Then let's go ahead and start with our routes. So app.get. Let's say let's start at the very, very base. I don't think we're ever going to go here, but it's nice to have something there. Rec and res. This is res dot send. It's like our super basic thing, like an H1. Says task manager. That's it. So that's probably not super important, but just in case you want to check that everything's working. Really, what we're caring about is app.use. So what is it? It's API /v1 /tasks probably. And then we need our task router here. Bam, there we go. So now that we have those, then we can throw in our error handler from before. Error handler. Okay, so we've got to start on a port, of course. Gotta listen on a particular port. Yes. Question.
I'm a little bit confused with our error handler because I thought that we have only three parameters in middleware. So request, um, result, and next. But here we had error parameter in the beginning. So how it works?
Oh, let's see this for our error handler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is optional. I think like we could probably do this a different way. But yeah, you can totally just feed error in here as just like a regular parameter for this function. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of there's a couple ways, yeah, it could be handled. This is just sort of the way that just like I honestly, dang, I don't even remember where I saw this. If I'm being honest with you, I've just seen this before and sort of know the order. Because like so many parameters are optional, right? And that you don't need to provide. I just know that if you provide this one before rec res and next, similar to next, right? You don't need this one either, but it's optional. But then you can provide it there. It's errors the same way that you can provide those and provide that one along with a rec res and next. The order is just the part that matters. If you like don't do it at all, and the name is also important, I believe here. Error. Yeah, it's looking for the specific order of these things. If it sees rec first, then it's going to know that you're ignoring passing in an error. But if you're not, if it sees error here, then it knows to also be looking for that as well. Sorry, I'll look up for you and maybe send to you this here because yeah, this is just one of those things that I've seen and sort of forgotten the fundamentals of that I just sort of know how to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a better explanation for that. I totally didn't even think about that. It's one of those things. So we need to listen on a port, right? So usually it's good to put your port inside of process.env here. So like process.env.port, which I have. It's set to 3000 right now. But usually what you do is if there's a port defined in your .env, and that's what it should use. Or double pipe here is the or operator. Or then it'll just go with whatever's here. Let's just do 3000 because that's the common one. It would be 3000 either way here, right? Because that's what's in my .env. But this is the usual process of like if your company or your project or whatever says that you should be using a specific port, that's a secret, then just do that. If not, then just some random port that it's okay if people saw. We'll just do 3000. So const start equals async. Let's try to await that connect DB from before. And where is it going to connect? It's going to connect from to my Mongo URI from Mongo Atlas. This is going to be once again process.env.mongo URI is what I called it. That's what it should be generally called. And if that works, app.listen on our port. Of course, as always, I like to do something a little bit goofy here. So we're going to console log. You are now listening to the smooth sounds of port. And then if that doesn't work, of course, we're going to need to catch our errors. Let's actually make an object this time. Not an object. Let's do some curly braces so we can do not just a one-liner. Console dot, actually, we can console dot error. Logging works too, of course. But let's just error it for funsies. Connection failed. Then let's just put in the error. And then we'll exit that process, just kill the server right away. One will kill things. And then we just run start at the end. Don't forget that part. That's important. Whoa, why did I do that? There we go. Okay. So yeah, this is just a culmination of all the other stuff we've done. A lot of this is common, right? That we've done a couple times before. Bring in all our requirements. Const app equals express. We got express.json. Set up this basic route, probably not needed, you know. More important one is making sure that when we navigate to API/v1/tasks, that it just checks all the routes on our task router. We got our error handler here, just in case we want to use that. Check our port, and then get the thing running. Let's clear this. So this should just work. So npm start. Bam. Oh no. Express.router is not a function in task.js. Tasks.js, that's our routes. Saying express.router is not a function. Oh, it's not capitalized. I see. Right. Okay. There we go. Let's try that one again. Oh, new error. Probably another capitalization somewhere. Route.get requires a function, but got object undefined. Oh, classic. This is probably another spelling error. I literally just debugged this with a student yesterday. This is almost certainly a spelling error somewhere. On line 11 of routes.task. So it's saying it doesn't like get all tasks. Did I miss? This is where I was going back and just hoping I did this correctly the first time around. So it is called get all tasks. Oh, I didn't export my controllers, obviously. Right, whoops. Module.exports equals get all tasks, create task. Generally, a good rule of thumb is that if everything looks like it should be working and it's not working, it's usually something super simple like this. Always check spelling, check to make sure things are exported and imported correctly. That is always the first place you should look when things are like this. Okay. New error. What do we got this time? ConnectDB is not a function. So that's probably another issue like that. So where are we now? We're at app.js line 24 and 31, apparently. Probably a misspelling, right? So line 24, it says, await ConnectDB. So ConnectDB, db.connect is what that's called. Make sure, let's check this. Whoops. So const ConnectDB. Oh yeah, I forgot to export this too. Whoopsies. Module.exports equals ConnectDB. There we go. Let's make sure we export everything here. Okay, so tasks, that's exported. DB, that's exported. This is exported. This is exported. Our routes are exported or via the router. Okay, so now I think everything's exported. All right. And yeah, errors happen all the time. Only thing that's important is just checking them out, figuring out what's wrong. So npm start again. There we go. Nice. You're now listening to the smooth sounds. I said smooth here. Beautiful. Smooth sounds. Beautiful. We're not going to fix that. That's fine. That's actually, you know what? We're going to own the imperfection. It's smooth now. All right, great. So now that we are smoothly listening to this port, we can just test these routes, I think. So we should probably post first, right? Because otherwise we won't be able to get or update or delete anything. So let's post, right? So where are we going? We're going to local host 3000 / API / v1, whoops, /v1 / tasks. We need to include a rec body, make sure it's raw, make sure it's JSON. And let's make a task here. Let's be name. So the most important task, got to make sure you fold the garbage. fold the garbage, walk the laundry, you know, that kind of stuff. So fold the garbage. That is our first task. And go. That shouldn't be happening. It's hanging for some reason. Make sure I did this correctly. It's a name. That's right, fold the garbage. It's hanging. It's not giving me any response here in the terminal. The Postman console. Oh, it's not happy here. Econ refused. Oh, this is from earlier. Never mind. This is a while ago. Let's cancel that request. I am posting, so that's correct. So look, make sure I didn't misspell something here. Localhost 3000 / API / v1 / tasks. That seems fine, but we're hanging for some reason. Well, let's go back. No big deal. So let's check our controller for creating a task. So create task, async, rec, res, next. Try const tasks equals await task.find. We find all of our tasks. Dot sort. Could be the dot sort. I don't think so, though. I'm reading get all tasks right now. Whoops. Await task.create. Provided in our rec.body. We res.status. Otherwise, we just catch the error, which also didn't do. Create task. Yeah, rec res next. Make sure it's async. Yeah. So this seems fine. I don't think the issue is here. So let's make sure that it's working in our routes properly. It is at the base here. So that should be fine. Let's make sure in our app.js that that's following the correct route. So that's correct here. Make sure that this is properly spelled. Tasks router, that's all fine. Let's make sure we require from the right place just in case that's wrong. Oops. /routes /tasks. Okay, so that was fine. Boom. Let's try getting and see what happens. All of them are hanging. Interesting. So it's not a problem with a specific route. We can tell that because we're trying a different protocol and it's still happening. So I don't believe the issue is with our tasks, or with our controllers rather. It's somewhere else. Let's check our app.js. Let's actually close this and maybe reopen it and see what happens. Let's throw this out. Actually, when I run npm start, which is happening? Is it node or node mon? So it's node app.js. All right, so let's check app, make sure everything's looking fine here. We have express, we have our connect, express.json's there. API v1 tasks, that's fine. Our port's working, smooth. All right, npm start, let's run it again. Okay, seems fine. If I just try again, will it just work? Get our tasks. Hanging again. We're not getting any errors either. It's just hanging. I mean, if we let it hang here for long enough, I'm sure it'll tell us an error, but it's not going to be very helpful. I'll let that run in the background. Let's see. So I don't think it's an issue with our connection because we are connecting just fine. do I have it running on a different terminal perhaps? Is that the issue? It might also be an issue with just my server, right? Like my actual MongoDB. Let me go onto my PC really quickly here. Sorry, move this and try that. MongoDB Atlas. Make sure everything's fine in that regard. Not hanging because of that. Let's see, let's sign in. Let's see here. All right, so we have this one. Let's browse our collections. Because I did already test this before. This Git should actually have responded with something because of course, I ran this beforehand to make sure that it was working just fine. See, that was the one from earlier, right? I did it successfully. So getting this should be working. So something is off. Let's test one more time. So where is the issue? Where is the issue? Let's go through them all again. So this is fine. This is fine. We did all these, verified all these. So all these should be all right. If someone else notices what the issue is, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep debugging. Task router, tasks plural, tasks plural. I have to use error handler. You know what? Let's just, I don't think it's this. I don't think it's this either, but actually, what happens? No, that probably wouldn't do anything. Still seeing this request. Nope. Connect DB, make sure I spelled that correctly. Just for sake of, I tried to be cool here, but what if this is the issue here? Actually, I'm going to comment all this out. I'm going to kill this. Let's try making it the more conventional way. I don't think this is the issue, but if it is, then I'll feel silly. Get all tasks, create task, date task, delete task, equals require controllers slash tasks. Cool. Let's just do get all tasks and post tasks now. So router, route, comma, dot, get, so we'll get all tasks, router dot route, here again for dot post, let's create task. Let's do these for now. Oh, right, it's not on. Oh, no, it's not happy with me. On tasks JS 11. Oh, of our routes, of course.
I don't think it's all tasks still correctly. Because after gate is
Oh,
there
right.
is
Yes. And here
also
as
in
well.
the waiting.
Awesome. That must be it. Yes. Okay, there we go. It's back to hanging. Okay, so the issue is not with the structure of our routes. We know that for sure. So we can probably rule out the routes altogether if that's not the issue. Means we can put all this back. Okay, so routes we pretty much ruled out as being an issue. The controllers, I don't think anything here is the issue. It all seems pretty straightforward stuff. Get all tasks, create tasks, update tasks, delete tasks. So I did name those correctly. Make sure I didn't do like model show that export or something like that. These are all spelled and capitalized properly. Okay, just check in on our posting one. So const create task equals async request next. That's all fine. Arrow function try const task equals await task dot create rec dot body. So that's all fine. Res dot status 201 JSON task catch the error. Same thing with getting all tasks. Request next. Task dot find sort. Res status count. Okay, this all seems fine. I don't see anything the issue here. So we can tentatively rule out controllers as being the issue. I don't think the DB is the issue either because we've connected just fine. Unless I misspelled something here, connect DB, Mongo said connect URL. So that all seems fine. Make sure I pass the correct URL here when we're calling connect DB in the app.js. So we're just looking for a URL parameter. What is that URL parameter being fed? It is being fed our Mongo URI. So that is probably just fine. I'm configuring with .env, right? Yep, that's doing that first actually. .env didn't spell that incorrectly or anything like that. Connect DB, error handler, tasks router, express.json. Oh, haha. Not sure if that's the actual problem, but that was definitely supposed to be a invocation of express.json here. That might be the issue, honestly. Because it's not JSONifying, right? The request body that I was just submitting. So let's post this again. Yeah, that was totally it. So like I was saying before, everything looked like it was supposed to be working, but it wasn't. I should have been looking for more simple stuff like that. All right, so fold the garbage is here. So now we should be able to get error, invalid status code. Oh, it's because I already had one called fold the garbage, I think. Whoopsies. Or unless, did I comment something else? Did I comment out some of these routes? That could also be the issue. In my routes, no, I called those all correctly. I didn't comment any of them out, I don't think. Okay, let's see. What was the issue? Range error, invalid status code count 3. Yeah, it's probably because I called it the same thing twice. I don't know why I did that. So it doesn't like on controllers tasks JS line 7. Count tasks dot length. This could be misspelled. I don't think so though, because it's this tasks. Let's maybe not sort them. That could be the issue, maybe. Maybe let's for now just do the tasks. Oop. Okay, now that we changed the code, we gotta kill this and rerun it. Cool. Let's go back to this. Let's try getting our tasks. There we go. Something about that made it upset, but it's fine. That was extra stuff anyway. So buy milk, fold the garbage, and fold the garbage a second time. So we can test these other ones actually. So let's go ahead and patch here. So let's change fold the garbage to the completed status is now going to be true on fold the garbage. And we got to go to its specific ID. So that's this ID here. So we got to grab that. Oh, missed one. Grab that, copy, slash that ID. Make sure there's a comma here. So now fold the garbage is still going to be its name. And it's going to be true now. Cool. Now completed is true. Let's go back to make sure. And then we see fold the garbage is true now. Then we can also test deleting, right? This other fold the garbage, since we have it twice. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Copy that ID, delete. Task deleted, just to make sure. Let's go back. Yep, just those two now. So that's git, post, patch, and delete. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. All right, well, pretty fun stuff. We ran into a couple errors, but errors are always a good thing, honestly, because you run into an error, you figure out why it happens, you fix it, and next time you see it, you'll be able to fix it right away, or just not do it at all. But you know, you'll probably do it again. But every error you solve is an error that you will hopefully not struggle with in the future. So, you know, it's good. It's important to debug, right? How you debug and how you handle those problems is just as important as how you handle success, because you're going to fail in coding, right? And how you handle that failure is super important. It's not even failure, right? It's actually just like learning just more in a more difficult, non-fun way. Oh, thank you for saying that was a great lesson. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. Anything else here? We already are at time, but what could we do? Oh, we could make another route where we get by specific IDs. That would be probably pretty quick. People feel free to head out, but maybe we'll make one more just for fun, right? So let's go to our tasks. It should probably be right here, right? Get one task. It's gonna be really similar, right? So const get task equals async. We need rec, we need res, we need next. So we're gonna try like always. So we're gonna grab just one task this time. So const task equals, we're gonna do the same find by ID thing as we've been doing for these other ones. So we're gonna await a task dot find by ID, not delete or remove or update, just find by ID. Of course, it's gonna be looking for our rec.params.id, right? Do a little bit of error handling here just in case if there's no task there, we don't find one at that ID. We'll just return a res.status of 404 again. Because remember, we're handling 400s and 500s already. .json, the message is task not found, set face. And then, we need to actually res.status. Oh, why is this? There we go. Res.status 200 because we succeeded. Give it the JSON. Just JSONify the task that we made, or got rather. And then got to catch, of course. Got to catch them all. One liner here just for the sake of brevity. Next error, please. Right. That should be it. Just real quick. Similar to stuff we've already done, right? Let's go back. Let's check in on folding the garbage here. Oh, wait, whoops, that's not all, obviously. What did I forget to do? I forgot to put it in our routes. I also forgot to export it. Get all tasks, put it right here. What did I call it? Just get task. And then in our routes, it's going to be here, right? In the ID specific routes, right? Dot get. Let's put it here too. Get task. Get task. I hope you think this is cool as I do, right? I think this is such a fun way to minimize your routers. Okay, so now it should just work. Bam, let's go back. /tasks / grab its ID here. Whoop, bam. And go. Hooray, we failed. Let's see. Find one and delete. It's unhappy with find one and update. Interesting. Cannot get API plus v1/tasks. Cannot get. Okie doke. I was hoping that was going to be super quick and easy. I probably forgot to put something somewhere, to be honest. Find by ID, make sure that's spelled correctly, rec.params, not like parms or something. 200 JSON task. It's in our routes now. You know, include it somewhere here. No, I don't. I might have copied it wrong. Let's see if that was the issue. Let's just get all of our tasks again. Let's try buy milk. All right, that's definitely the ID. Can I get again? Interesting. Get task async request next try const task wait task capitalize that's good. If there's no task, so we didn't get this right. We didn't hit this. We actually got a different. We got cannot get at that route. So the issue I don't believe is in the actual getting of the task. I think maybe the order matters in our routes actually, in the router.routes. I don't know, but I think these are actually supposed to be in order. Let's move this up here. I think that's true actually. I think the order might matter. No, it's not true. Yeah, I want to keep people. I can still just keep debugging, and this is somewhat fun to me. So, but I don't know if it's not fun to other people. I guess before I just keep trundling on, any questions, any comments about anything that we went over in setting up all of this stuff? Anything at all? Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Great. Yeah, you're more than welcome to keep watching me do this. I feel like I'm so close. I feel like it's something simple again. It is also, look, it's giving us a 404 here. So that's a bit interesting. So everything's everything's working the way it should be, but it's not. So what do? Let's look for basic silly mistakes. All right. So that is called get task, which I'm pretty sure is what I called it when I'm exporting, right? Let's go to our controllers. Let's see. So it is called get task, right? Make sure it's called get task here. It is. I'm not misspelling anything. Get task, async, rec.res next, try const task equals await capital task, find by ID, rec.params.id. If there's no task, return the 404 with message task not found. It's interesting that this isn't happening because we are getting to 404. Otherwise, res.status, catch error, next error. So all of that is correct, no misspellings. Let's go to our routes. Get task, that's here. It is supposed to be in the ID section, right? And then .get, which is right, get task. This seems fine. Order shouldn't matter too much. I don't think that's it. Is this an issue with something else? Let's try getting all of our tasks again. Make sure it's not something else. Okay, so this is working. This is fine. So that's not the issue. And we are able to do things at a specific ID. So it's not the fact that all of that is broken. Because if everything here was like all of our routes were for IDs was broken, we wouldn't be able to patch and delete So that's not the issue. It's just this get. Let's make sure it's not just the overall ID route. We just tested it, so it should be fine, but let's just make sure again. Let's patch again. Patch at this ID. So this is buy milk. So instead, let's just change buy milk to be true. Okay, so now buy milk is true. Go back to getting. Actually, now that this works, let's see what happens when we do this. So we're back to cannot get. So we're able to perform a patch on it, but then we're not able to perform a get on it. So what does that mean? That means that something is specifically wrong with getting, with our get route. But what is it? Oops, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all around here. Again, capitalization. We went over every single part in here. Everything seems fine unless I'm missing something. Is our try catch block wrong? No, that's not wrong. Should be, yep. Finding it, making sure if it's wrong, and then res.status. Do I have the right status? I do. That's all correct. Hey there, buddy. My girlfriend's dog is in the room with me. All right. Let's see here. The only other place that could cause it an error is in the routes. What if we made it its own route? What would happen, do you think? What do you think would happen? Let's find out. Let's kill the server. Boot it back up again. Huh. Well, worked that time. Interesting. Let's try and replicate that again. So let's go back to our routes. Let's comment this out. Put the dot get back in here. Oh, get task. We gotta kill the server and bring it back up since we changed something. Now it just works. Maybe we changed something and we needed to just kill the server and restart. That was probably it. That's probably just needed to restart the server. Well, a little bit of an anticlimactic debug there. Could have been anything, really. All right. Well, cool. Awesome. We have a maybe. Is that maybe to what I was saying, or you have another theory? Yep. Well, cool. We did it. More debugging. Fun. That should have been a quicker option from how they should have thought of. Awesome. Well, if y'all want to spin this up again, although there is a limit to how many free tier clusters you can have. I would know because yeah, I definitely, yeah, my last job we used a free tier while we were holding on for something else. Yeah, Nodemon is better for developing. That would have probably been a better case overall, right? So we would have avoided that issue altogether, right? If we had been running Nodemon instead of Node. Yeah, I usually use Nodemon myself. I just the only reason I didn't is because it like threw me a weird error when I tried to boot a server with Nodemon as opposed to Node a little while ago. And so I've just been using Node instead of Nodemon. But yeah, for development, Nodemon is definitely superior because yeah, it will do those hot refreshes all the time as opposed to doing this. That is a good point, and we'll probably do that next time and onwards. Let's see what happens when we just do that. So I think it's npm run dev. Cool, yeah. Same thing pretty much, but now we're running on Nodemon. Okay, so it's fixed itself. So now I can go back to using Nodemon. I was just so nervous that it would just throw me some random error. Okay, awesome. Well, great. Yeah. I really appreciate y'all coming and watching me fumble around. I hope that was at least somewhat insightful. Doing things over and over again is you can never do them enough, I assure you. And yeah, I'll have all of this up as a recording if you wanted to watch it again and start over. But yeah, no problem. Yep. Have a good night. Have a good night, everybody. Stop the recording.